2.6, angles formed by a transversal. This is level 1. And there's a second page that goes with this too. So we're just going to talk about what a transversal is first. The definition is just a line that passes through two parallel lines. So you can see here in this picture, here's my parallels. Remember, we can have this little triangular shapes, arrows on them to show that they're parallel. And then this guy is my transversal because he's slicing through the parallels, going in a different direction. And so what happens here is it creates 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different angles. And within there's some relationships that help speed us up, and so that we know what the measures are going to be. So there's these different ones. First, we're going to talk about a corresponding angle pair. They are congruent. So corresponding angles, I want you to list all the options. Corresponding would be like number 1 and number 5. So angle 1 and angle 5. Because look at their position. See how if I were to snip right here and slide these over top of these, so 1 through 4 over 5 through 8, 1 and 5 would be in the same position. It's like the top left of this group of 4. That's what corresponding means. It goes together. It goes with each other. They are in the same place. So 1 and 5, 3 and 7. Can you see any more? 2 and 6. And 4 and 8. And so if I knew angle 1 was, say, 40 degrees, angle 5 would be 40 degrees. And so with 3 and 7, say they're obtuse, say they're not going to be 40, but say they're then 140. 7 would be 140. They're always going to be equal in measure. Vertical angles we've already talked about, they're congruent. So they're the ones that are across from each other in this X. That'd be like 1 and 4, 2 and 3. 5 and 8, 6 and 7. And again, whatever one of them is, the other one's going to be exactly the same measure. Then we get into some kind of weirder ones. Alternate exterior angles, they're also congruent. Alternate meaning on opposite sides of the transversal. So like angle number 1 and then 8. So see how 1 and 8 are on opposite sides of the transversal. One's on the left, one's on the right. They're outside of the parallels. One's on top, one's on bottom. That's what alternate exterior means. The other set, the only other set, is angle 2 and 7. Would be alternate exterior. Then we have alternate interior. So again, we're talking about opposite sides of the transversal, but now we're going to bring it inside the parallel. So that would be like 3 and 6, 4 and 5. Okay, they will be congruent as well. So anything alternate of the transversal will be congruent. But then we talk about, they're calling same side or consecutive. So consecutive means right in a row. Same side exterior. They're not going to be congruent. They're going to be supplementary. Let's look at those. Same side of the transversal, but they're exterior, so they're outside of the parallel. So that'd be like 1 and 7. And there's one more option. That would be angle 2 and 8. They are not the same. You can look at angle 1. See how this is itty bitty? It's less than a 90, and then 7 is bigger than a 90. These will add to make 180 degrees. So let's say this is 40. This would be 140. One's your acute, one's your obtuse. And then the last set we need to look at are same side or consecutive interior. So again, same side, but now they're inside the parallels. That would be like 3 and 5 or 4 and 6. And again, you can see 3 is obtuse while 5 is acute. So no, they're not equal. They're going to add to make 180. Same thing with 4 and 6. This is now acute. This is obtuse. They are not the same. So let's use these angle relationships onto the next page. It says, given M is parallel to N, find the value of X and state the angle relationship. So T, this is our transversal line cutting through our parallels. This 45 degree, and then this angle right here. You can see that in this group of 4 angles, this is in the bottom right, this is in the bottom right. That is called corresponding. And I'm just going to use angles symbol. And then X would also be 45 degrees. They are congruent. Number 2, we've seen these. This is just called a linear pair. So it wasn't really something we talked about on the previous page. We should just know it, that these make 180 degrees. So it should be 180 minus 46, which would be 34. All right, number 3. So we've got here and here. They are on opposite sides of the transversal. One's above it, one's below it, so that's alternate. And then they are inside the parallel lines. One's below, one's above, so that's called interior angles. Alternate interior. They are congruent, so this is also 26 degrees. You can see they look the same shape. All right, number 4. You can see that these are alternate because one's on the right or above and one's below. And then this time they're outside the parallels. One's below it, one's above it. So alternate exterior angles. They're also congruent. So if this is 148, this is also 148. And again, you can see they're the same shape and size. A couple more. Number 5, they're not alternate. They're on the same side of this transversal. They're both above it or to the right of it. So that's called consecutive. Sometimes they say same side, but consecutive. And then they're inside the parallels. So that would be consecutive interior. Now be careful. They don't even look the same. This is an obtuse angle while this is a smaller one. They are not the same. They make 180. So you would have to do 180 minus 21, which would be 159 for that. Number 6, same thing. They're on the same side of the transversal, so that'd be consecutive, but now they're outside these parallels, so that would be consecutive exterior. Again, they don't look the same. This is obtuse. This is acute, so they should make 180. 180 minus 67 should be, or 167, sorry, 13. Right here. And number 7. Now be careful on this one. They're alternate, but this is above the parallel, so it looks like it's exterior, but this is inside the parallel. So they're not really a relationship like that. You have to kind of do a two-step thing here. This angle here is in the top left corner of these 4. This angle here is in that same corresponding position. So I would say I'm using corresponding angles to get me here, and then I'm going to use a linear pair relationship because I know that these two should make 180 degrees. So 180 minus 58 would be 122.